This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. There are many reasons why Donald Trump is throwing a fit and crying foul and spreading conspiracy theories about this election. One of the main ones, the obvious one that people know about, is that he wants to remain president. He wants to claim that he won the election and continue on in his path of destruction of the United States of America. That's the obvious one. But secondarily, the reason he wants to remain president is because he is immune from prosecution of federal crimes. It's being talked about right now what it's going to look like for Donald Trump when he leaves office and is no longer covered by presidential immunity. There are two cases staring him down as soon as he leaves office. At 12:01 on January 20th, 2021, the moment that Joe Biden takes the oath of office and is sworn in as president of these United States, Donald Trump faces prosecution. There is a case, an investigation that's going on by the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, that involves 4 separate properties and land deals. His attempt to buy the Buffalo Bills NFL team, the Chicago Trump Tower, the golf course here in Los Angeles. And then, well, by the way, that case is civil, not criminal. However, in the course of the investigation, if they find criminal activity, they can certainly forward it on to prosecutors throughout the state of New York, or even recommend charges here in California or in Illinois with the Chicago Trump Tower. And then there's the other case, which is being investigated by Cy Vance, who's the Manhattan District Attorney. And that case involves a lot more. That case involves not only what ended up being federal campaign finance irregularities that Michael Cohen already pleaded guilty to. So crimes were absolutely committed on Donald Trump's behalf, but federal prosecutors, because he's the president of the United States and the Justice Department has been in his coat pocket this entire time, they declined to prosecute. But those crimes also involved other irregularities relative to falsifying business documents. So that is what's being investigated by Cy Vance. Also, in Cohen's testimony, he indicated that Donald Trump falsifies records for banks, claiming low values on properties to get or high values on properties to get bank loans, and then low values on those very same properties for tax reasons, which is bank fraud and tax fraud, or one or the other. But that, I mean, because if you inflate values, that's bank fraud. If you deflate, that is tax fraud. But if your amount is correct, then it could be one or the other. Anyway, I'm getting into the weeds here. So Donald Trump has often talked about and even tweeted that he can pardon himself. Now, before we get into any of this, because I'm going to be reading from the Constitution, I'm going to be reading from an Office of Legal Counsel memo from 1974 in the Nixon administration. But Donald Trump, even if he could pardon himself, presidential pardons do not apply to state and local crimes, only federal ones. But Donald Trump tweeted in June of 2018, as has been stated by numerous legal scholars, I have the absolute right to pardon myself. But why would I do that when I have done nothing wrong? In the meantime, the never-ending witch hunt led by 13 very angry and conflicted Democrats and others continues into the midterms. So Donald Trump, obviously a dummy, doesn't understand that a president, while it is debated, he can't pardon himself. Article 1, Section 2 of the United States Constitution reads, among other things, it reads this. The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and the Navy of the United States and of the militia of the several states when called into the actual service of the United States. He may require the opinion in writing of the principal officer in each of the executive departments upon any subject relating to the duties of their respective offices, and he shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. Now, when it says except in cases of impeachment, that doesn't mean necessarily, they're not specifically talking about a presidential impeachment, because remember, impeachment is a legislative process that can be applied to federal judges, other individuals other than the president. It's famously for presidents, because we've just gone through Donald Trump's impeachment, but that's not necessarily, what they're saying there is he can't step in and pardon someone who the legislative branch impeached and removed from office, because that would be a check against their check on his power. Well, during the Nixon administration, our other felonious Republican president, the Office of Legal Counsel, it's a department of the Department of Justice, was asked to write an opinion on this matter about whether a president can pardon his or herself. And this is what they came up with. This is from the acting Assistant Attorney General at the time, Mary C. Lawton, who wrote, I am forwarding to you an outline on the question whether the president can receive an executive or legislative pardon, and several substitute measures. Please advise me whether you require a more definitive memorandum, and if so, which portions should be expanded upon and which may be dealt with summarily. Number 1, pursuant to Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States except in cases of impeachment is vested in the president. This raises the question whether the president can pardon himself. Here is where we need to start paying attention to what the acting Attorney General, the acting Assistant Attorney General Mary Lawton said. Under the fundamental rule that no one may be a judge in his own case, it would seem that the question should be answered in the negative. So no, because you can't be a judge in your own case. That's a fundamental core principle of our judicial system, that no, a president can't pardon himself. And then she gives a more far-fetched, bad movie version of an idea of how it could be done in paragraph 3. Number 3, a different approach to the pardoning problem could be taken under Section 3 of the 25th Amendment. If the president declared that he was temporarily unable to perform the duties of his office, the vice president would become the acting president, and as such, he could pardon the president. Thereafter, the president could either resign or resume the duties of his office. All of this, again, wouldn't eliminate the threat of prosecution from state charges, which is what Donald Trump is facing. And then the other thing that could be done is that Donald Trump just calls it quits, resigns, and has Mike Pence sworn in as the 46th president of the United States, and then have Mike Pence pardon him. But again, it would not eliminate the threat of state charges. So, I don't know. A lot of people are talking about whether or not Donald Trump is reluctant to leave for this reason. I believe it is. It's just delaying the inevitable. Then there's the case, the chance of maybe the federal government picking up where Donald Trump's Justice Department left off and prosecuting Donald Trump for campaign finance violations. But there's a 5-year statute of limitations on those charges, so they'd have to get to getting. I don't know what the exact dates are, but it's not good. Again, I've said it in many videos before that for the sake of unity isn't a good enough excuse to not seek prosecution, or at the very least investigation of the many crimes of Donald Trump. We need justice to be served. That is where unity comes. that is where the healing of the nation, to prove to everyone that no matter your station, no matter your office, no matter your wealth, justice is blind and will be served. I'd love to know what you think. 714-576-4054. Email me, daily@dollemore.com. I'd love to hear from you. Coming up on Thanksgiving here. We've taken the rest of the week off. I love you guys. I would invite you to help support my work here on YouTube. For fewer than $2 a month, you can click the join button, join, support independent media analysis and commentary. It is going to be more important than ever moving forward to rely on not just voices like mine or me specifically, but voices like mine, I guess. If there's someone out there who brings you more value, support that person. I'm not for everybody. I know that. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.